Superglue, a modern marvel, a tiny tube promising to fix almost anything. Broken toys, cracked mugs, loose buttons, it has become a household staple, a quick fix for everyday mishaps. But this convenience comes with a hidden danger. Just imagine for a second that tube slipping, the glue squirting out unexpectedly. Instead of landing on a broken plate, it lands on your eye. It's a horrifying thought. A real-life nightmare that could happen in an instant. Our eyes, those delicate windows to the world, are incredibly vulnerable. Superglue, designed to bond almost instantly, doesn't discriminate. One moment of clumsiness, a slight miscalculation, and this everyday adhesive transforms into a potential weapon. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about understanding the risks associated with commonplace items. Because sometimes the ordinary can turn extraordinary, and not in a good way. Superglue, a brand name synonymous with cyanoacrylate adhesive. What does that mean exactly? It means that it's made up of molecules that, when exposed to moisture, rapidly polymerize. Think of it like tiny building blocks snapping together, forming a strong, rigid chain. This reaction happens almost instantly, which is what makes superglue so effective. It doesn't need heat or pressure, just a touch of moisture. And guess what our eyes are covered in? You guessed it, moisture. Tears, aqueous humor, the thin film that keeps our eyes lubricated. In a matter of seconds, the liquid glue transforms into a hardened plastic, adhering to whatever surface it touches. But it's not just the bonding that's the problem. Cyanoacrylates release heat as they cure, which can cause thermal burns on the delicate surface of your eye. Some formulations contain solvents that can irritate and damage the eye even further. Imagine for a moment a tiny drop of superglue landing on the cornea of your eye. It's a horrifying thought, the kind of scenario that makes you want to close your eyes and never open them again. But let's delve into the specifics of this ocular assault. The cornea, that clear dome-shaped layer covering the front of your eye, is responsible for focusing light onto the retina. It's incredibly sensitive, packed with nerve endings that send signals to your brain, allowing you to see. When superglue comes into contact with the cornea, it bonds almost instantly, creating a rough, uneven surface that disrupts this delicate process. Imagine looking through a window smeared with glue. That's the kind of visual distortion superglue can cause. The bonding process itself can cause severe irritation, leading to redness, burning, and intense pain. The heat can burn the cornea, potentially leading to scarring and long-term vision problems. The glue itself can trap bacteria and debris against the cornea, increasing the risk of infection. Now let's move on to the eyelids. When superglue gets involved, it can bond the eyelids together, sealing them shut. Panic. It's a natural response to a terrifying situation. But when it comes to superglue in the eye, panic is your worst enemy. Clear thinking, swift action, those are your allies in this battle against time. Remember, the longer the glue remains in contact with your eye, the more damage it can inflict. So what do? First and foremost, resist the urge to rub your eye. It might seem counterintuitive, but rubbing will only spread the glue, potentially making the situation worse. Instead, hold your eye open as best as you can. Easier said than done, I know, especially when you're dealing with intense pain and blurry vision. Next, immediately flush your eye with copious amounts of water. Use whatever you have on hand, a running tap, a bottle of water, even a glass of water poured carefully over your eye. The goal is to irrigate the eye, flushing away as much of the glue as possible before it has a chance to fully bond. Don't be shy with the water, flush for at least 15 minutes, keeping your eye open as wide as you can. If you have a saline solution on hand, even better. You've flushed your eye with water and the initial panic has subsided. What's next? Well, this is where professional medical help comes in. Don't assume you're in the clear just because you've irrigated your eye. Superglue is tenacious stuff, and there's a good chance some of it has already bonded to your eye tissues. A trip to the emergency room or an ophthalmologist is non-negotiable. They have the tools and expertise to assess the extent of the damage and remove any remaining glue. This might involve using specialized instruments to gently peel or scrape away the hardened glue. In some cases, they might use topical ointments to soften the glue, making it easier to remove. Pain management is another crucial aspect of treatment. They might also prescribe antibiotic drops to prevent infection, especially if there's corneal abrasion. Depending on the severity of the injury, you might require follow-up appointments to monitor your eye's healing. Now let's step away from the hypothetical and delve into the realm of real-life cases. Because as strange as it might seem, superglue mishaps involving the eyes are not as uncommon as you might think. A quick search through medical journals reveals a surprising number of cases. Take, for instance, the case of a young boy who mistook a tube of superglue for eye drops. The results were, as you can imagine, disastrous. The glue bonded his eyelids shut, causing panic and distress. Thankfully, doctors were able to remove the glue and save his vision. Another case involved a factory worker who accidentally sprayed superglue into his eye. The glue bonded his cornea to his eyelid, essentially gluing his eye shut. It took multiple trips to the hospital and specialized procedures to remove the glue and restore his vision. These are just two examples among many. We've explored the immediate dangers of superglue in the eye, the initial panic, and the emergency treatments. But what about the long-term effects? What happens after the initial injury heals? Unfortunately, the answer isn't always straightforward. While many people make a full recovery, some are left with lasting complications. One of the most significant concerns is corneal scarring. When the cornea is injured, it can heal with scar tissue, leading to blurry or distorted vision. In severe cases, it can even lead to permanent vision loss. Another potential complication is dry eye. The glue can damage the delicate glands that produce tears, leading to chronic dryness, irritation, and discomfort. And then there's the psychological impact. By now, you're probably thinking twice about reaching for that tube of superglue in your toolbox. And that's a good thing. Awareness is the first step towards prevention. But understanding the risks isn't enough. We need to translate that knowledge into action, to develop safe handling practices that protect ourselves and those around us. First and foremost, treat superglue with the respect it deserves. It's not a toy, not a magic wand to be wielded carelessly. Always read the manufacturer's instructions before using superglue, familiarizing yourself with the safety precautions, and never, ever point the tube towards your face. When applying superglue, use it in a well-ventilated area to avoid inhaling the fumes. It's also a good idea to wear protective eyewear. Children are naturally curious, drawn to new and interesting objects. That tube of superglue, with its promise of quick fixes and its intriguing texture, can be especially tempting for little hands eager to explore the world. That's why it's crucial to take extra precautions when it comes to children and superglue. Store superglue out of reach of children, preferably in a locked cabinet or drawer. Don't rely on high shelves or hiding places. Children are resourceful and determined, and they'll find a way to get their hands on anything that piques their interest. It's best to remove the temptation altogether. Education is another crucial aspect of prevention. Talk to your children about the dangers of superglue. While the focus of our exploration has been the horrifying potential of superglue in the eyes, it's important to remember that this adhesive can cause problems elsewhere on the body. Skin, for example, is also susceptible to superglue's bonding properties. Accidentally gluing your fingers together might be a rite of passage for some, but larger areas of skin glued together can be a more serious matter. The bonding process can cause irritation, redness, and even burns, especially on sensitive skin. Inhaling superglue fumes can irritate the respiratory tract, causing coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. And ingesting superglue, while rare, can be extremely dangerous. So, while our focus has been on the eyes, it's crucial to remember that superglue safety extends to all parts of the body. Handle it with care, follow safety precautions, and seek medical attention immediately if an accident occurs. We've journeyed through the unsettling world of superglue mishaps, exploring the chemical reactions, the potential for injury, and the long-term consequences. It's been a sobering experience, a stark reminder that even the most commonplace items can harbor hidden dangers. But amidst the cautionary tales and the medical jargon, there's a message of hope, a call to action. Knowledge, as they say, is power. By understanding the risks associated with superglue, by adopting safe handling practices, and by being prepared for the unexpected, we can mitigate those risks and protect ourselves and those around us. Let's treat superglue with the respect it deserves, recognizing its potential for both good and harm. Let this be a reminder that safety isn't about living in fear, but about making informed choices. It's about empowering ourselves with knowledge so that we can navigate the world around us with confidence and caution. Because sometimes the most ordinary objects can have extraordinary consequences, and it's up to us to ensure those consequences are positive, not catastrophic.